I didn't have sound on. Uh, I think I think it's sound on. I can't talk. Wait, what just happened? What just happened? Oh no, this is not so. It, oh, okay, hold on. Okay, so now it fixes itself. Oh god, everything has been going wrong. We couldn't get the. Okay, okay, but no, hi, I'm Stella Curie. I do astronomy content, mainly more focused on like questions of cosmic society. Like you'll notice that with all my videos, and then I also do just incredibly scuffed live streams, and it seems that's transferred over to here. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, but before we do that, I okay. So on my stream, I have a hand cam set up so I can physically showcase the books. But first, I wanna show a new. I want to show. Okay, so this is my dream. I have a. Oh God, it's not in frame, but I have a constellation mug right here, and it's. See, I don't know if you can see, but it has all the constellations on it. It was a replacement to the other mug I had that broke. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I guess I yeah, I all the audios and stuff. We couldn't get any of the models working, so we're just gonna be doing it like this. Yeah. Okay. I guess to start off, we can just go through the live stream because we haven't ordered like your books and then my books and then book series we've read, right? I think that's how we did it. Yeah. Bit rate is crunched. Yeah, same here. I just didn't expect everything to go so wrong so quickly. Okay. No,
all these books for a very long time. Um, but the other one that I would really recommend is the book Catabasis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's about this girl who has to descend into the layers of hell in order to find her PhD advisor. It's a really funny plot. Um, and it is definitely a very exciting read. The first half was really good, and I was a little disappointed by the second half, but I do highly recommend. And the other ones here are also very great. The Maniac is about a bunch of physicists, um, and sort of how they lost their minds doing physics. And then A Thousand Splendid Suns is this gorgeous, really written book. It made me cry about the story of these two women who are dealing with they're dealing with an abusive household and um, war torn country. So all these books are great. So these are my recent reads. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I do highly recommend
yeah,
Astral Sniper. Hmm.
they all sound like very interesting. I didn't look much into it before the stream because I wanted you to talk about them, but no, I might pick some of these up.
Yeah, and do let me know if you do. Thousand Splendid Suns hurt my soul to this day. Yeah, no, that definitely stuck with me for a long time. And hello, Astral Sniper. Oh, hello, Aleph Moo. Thank you so much for stopping by. John Green mentioned, yeah, John Green's great. So I guess I wanted to highlight some of my favorite books as well. Um, I think there's unfortunately a growing population of people who are not into reading anymore, which is very, very sad. Um, but
Oh,
this book is really,
I'm sorry, but that reminded me of a like okay, so one of my brothers was talking to me like recently. We still like talk and such. He was talking to me about how like at his school they don't teach kids how to read anymore. It's just like they don't assign books or anything. It's just read these passages. Like no, books are great. Books are interesting. and we should be promoting reading, but apparently we aren't anymore in some places.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important. One of the books on the previous page, I didn't talk about this, was this book called The Comfort Crisis. And it's this idea that because people have gotten so comfortable with a lot of different aspects, whether it's like doom scrolling or, our attention spans are being shortened, people are less inclined to do things that they perceive as more difficult. And it is true that reading and visualizing something in your head is very, very different skill than, doom scrolling on your phone. But I think reading is very, very important, especially in science, where a lot of people are also writing research papers. And I think the first step of becoming a good writer is also being a good reader. Um, Simon Stalanog. Yeah, so no sci-fi books. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna spend a lot of time talking about sci-fi books. So be very
Yeah, that's
excited.
all
And
in
the
the
first,
later slides.
yes. Um, and so the first book I want to talk about was The Electric State by Simon Stalanog. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right. It's actually it's like a graphic novel with really amazing dystopian world building. The basic premise, I don't want to spoil it too much, is that a girl and her robot go on this journey to search for their brother. And in the meantime, they have to travel through this very ruined landscape, which was the outcome of a very addictive VR technology. The world building is absolutely spectacular, and I highly, highly recommend. Stella, have you read this book?
No, I didn't even hear of it. Um, I'm really sorry. I was sorry. Before stream, I grabbed myself one of those Japanese like fish ice cream snacks, and then I forgot about it, and then it was melted. And I was like, oh, it shouldn't be too bad, and then it made a mess everywhere. But no,
Oh
no, I
no, wait. It's like one of those like Nature Valley bars that just like crumbles everywhere.
no, no, no. That wasn't. It was an ice cream snack, and I forgot about it, and then I tried to eat it while it was melted.
Oh my God. Wait, wait. Hi. So we just had a raid from Cider, eh?
Oh my god!
Speeding at speed, it's me, Z. Hello, everybody. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Cider, for visiting and for all the Cider Raiders. I think the first thing we should do is quickly introduce ourselves. Hi, I'm Z. I am a physics VTuber and also an IRL astrophysics researcher. Typically, I do content in physics, astrophysics, space policy, and more. Um, oh my God, thank you all so much for all of the follows. I am actually dual streaming on YouTube as well, which is my primary platform. Thank you all so much for the support. Today we are actually reviewing different books that we've enjoyed over time, and I just finished talking about The Electric State. Stella, if you'd like to introduce yourself
Yeah.
amidst these
Okay.
very loud notifications.
Okay. Okay. Real quick. Hi, I'm Stella. I'm an astronomy and futurism VTuber. I do a lot of content on like cosmic sociology and exploring like how civilization like grows and would interact in space. And then I also do very scuffed live streams.
Yay! Wait, this is so great. Thank you so much. Well, we were just talking about our favorite books, so if you have any recommendations, please do let us know. Some of our favorite books have included some sci-fi books. I think that's actually perfect timing to go on to the next slide, where I will talk about another book that I really enjoy. It's called Exhalation. Many of you guys may have read this. Um, I love your microwave background top. I wish that were a real shirt. I've been trying to look for that as well. I am canonically a photon from the first light of the universe, actually. Um, oh, I just realized the top of my head is cropped off.
Oh no.
um, oh my God. Thank you all so much for the support. I really appreciate it. I just recently started dual streaming on Twitch just so that there's a great scientific education community on Twitch. And I guess this is also a great example of that. So thank you so, so much for all of the support. Um, all right, so to move on to the next book, um, please do let me know if you've read this one, because this was one of my favorites. This is a book called Exhalation by Ted Chiang. It's a collection of science fiction short stories, and I also included this on my list because, as I was mentioning before, um, as I was mentioning before, um, nowadays less and less people have been really enjoying reading, and I think reading is such an important part of being a good writer and also sort of getting our attention spans back. But if you are wanting to start getting into reading, the first thing I recommend is reading short stories. And this is sort of where Exhalation comes in. It's a collection of science fiction short stories, and each one of them sort of left a very echoing, lasting impression. And I don't know about you, Stella, but for me, I really enjoy books and movies that like make me like think about it like late at night or like in the shower. Have you read
Yeah.
Exhalation?
No, honestly, most of the books on your list I hadn't even heard of. But I think the only one was like it was the egg because I'd watched the Kyrgyzstan video some time ago. But no, all of these look very interesting.
Ah, I
Yeah,
see, I see. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, Kyrgyzstan is great, and I love the animations that they made. I think Tofu also just raided into Cidery before, so thank you so much to Tofu as well, and welcome in. I guess we can briefly introduce ourselves again.
third time
Hi,
charm.
we were talking about how scuffed this stream is, and so yeah, this has definitely been probably the most scuffed stream in my streaming history. So, hi, I'm a physics VTuber, an IRL astrophysics researcher, and we are talking about our favorite books. And then, Stella, if you want to give a quick sentence or two.
Yeah, I'm an astronomy futures of VTuber. I do videos and scuffed live streams. Check it out if you want to see content.
Great, great, yes. So about exhalation, my favorite short story is actually the title story. It's called Exhalation. And the premise is that an alien scientist is trying to figure out why the clocks in their society appear to be running too fast. Um, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but I hope that hook is what gets you interested. And so for my next book, I moved on to the next slide.
Yeah.
Um, we this is one of my favorite books, and if you are interested in science history, this is the book for you. This is called When We Cease to Understand the World. It is a very shocking book, and I do recommend that there is a little bit of dark content, so if you are sensitive to that, please be sure to look it up in advance. It is a series of stories on real life scientists whose discoveries and drive for understanding the world have resulted in very scary moral consequences. Um, I don't know if you know this, Stella, but there are a lot of physicists who like, especially like if you ever look up like the Wikipedia article for like Boltzmann and Ehrenfest, like near the end of their lives, they went through like very troubled periods. And Benjamin Labatut, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, sort of discusses about how this drive for discovery led to some of these scientists like literally going insane. It was very shocking, and it's very freaky because you kind of read about these scientists and you don't know really you don't know about sort of their backstory until you really look into it. I never really knew that. Yeah, I do recommend looking up the Wikipedia article for Ehrenfest and Boltzmann, but I do have to say, if you are sensitive to like their intense content, like I would not recommend. Um,
Yeah. Maybe I don't
yeah,
read this one because yeah. But no, it
yeah.
just it depends. It depends.
I love history. Yeah, I mean, well, on the better hand, though, one of the other things that he wrote about was about Oppenheimer. And have you watched the movie, Stella?
No, I've been meaning to, but I just haven't been able to make time. It's just like I wanted to watch them in theaters, but I never got the chance. But I've seen like all the memes and clips from it, obviously.
Mm. Well, Orbeez, do let me know if you've seen Oppenheimer as well. It is a good movie, but it is definitely a long watch. Um, I think it one of the stories that they talk about is how Oppenheimer and this was discussed in the movie, felt a lot of sort of a lot of guilt about developing the bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I do highly recommend reading American Prometheus and also watching the movie. Barbenheimer was a magical time. That is so true.
Yeah, it
Barbenheimer
was.
was magical.
Yeah.
We also have a question from chat, and I guess this is also a good question for Stella because you actually got these books. The question is, I came in with the raid. Did you talk about where to get the books? I try hard these days not to Amazon. I highly recommend going to a public library. And I say that because um, you a lot of people don't realize this, but libraries nowadays have also gotten very high tech. There are some libraries that have access to 3D printers, and you can get so much free goodies with just a public library card. If a library is not accessible, I also recommend going to used bookstores. Sometimes you can find them like on Google Maps, like a really old one that's been like run by a family for generations. And they also tend to have really good deals or ways for you to like borrow the book and then sell it back again or just borrow it for the time being. Um, or if you have friends that also like to read, another great way is to exchange books. So that's actually what I've been doing recently. I'm reading this book called The Information by James Gleick. I don't know if to say his last name. Um, and it's a book that I borrowed from a friend. Um, so I do highly recommend that. Stella, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think if you want to get into reading books, first place you want to check out is a library. If you don't have access to a library, go to a used bookstore. In fact, whenever I'm buying books, I always try and check the used stores before I go to like a normal bookstore, and then after that, I check out like whatever nearby bookstore I have access to. Yeah, I think
Mm.
libraries are genuinely incredibly underutilized. I thought we'll talk about this when we get to book. But I that's how I got access to Supernova AI. I was able to read it, and then because the main thing about libraries is that you will have to return it eventually. So if that's not something you want to do and you want to like keep it in your collection, then you want to buy the books. But if you just want to read the books, then definitely go to the library first.
Yeah, I do highly recommend that. And I think another great place is like visiting Barnes and Noble, and these like new books are great, but um they also tend to be like, since the books are new, they are also more pricey. And so visiting a library is great. Good advice. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. University bookstores are great as well. Just went to the University of British Columbia bookstore with a friend, and that was fun. Well, I'm glad you had a great time. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, bookstores are. I don't know. I also feel like I feel like I've met so many people in bookstores just like going through like the physics book section and somebody being like, "Oh, like you like physics?" And I'm like, "Oh, I actually am like, I actually do physics," and spark and meeting other people who would be willing to exchange books with you. Hello, Nap. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bunch of nerds in here. Yeah, we are nerds.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I don't want to spend too much time. I think this might be my last slide out of my books. The last one
Yeah.
that I want to talk about is The Egg. Um, this is a short story, and I guess another great thing is that it's online, so you don't even need to think about buying or looking for the book. And there's also a really great video that was animated by Kurjasot as well. Um, but there are still books which are hard to find outside of Amazon. Yes, that is true. That is true. That's why used bookstores can sometimes be a good place. So The Egg is a short story by Andy Weir, who is also the author of The Martian and one of my favorite books of all time, which is Project Hail Mary, which I think we'll talk about in just a second.
Yeah, it's near
Um,
the end.
yeah. Um, and so this book, this short story is the kind of story that really keeps you thinking long after you read it. It is a short read, but with a very powerful punch. A little teaser to it is that a man meets God after dying and learns the meaning of his life, um, as well as many others. Project Hail Mary is so good. Yes, I highly recommend all the books written by Andy Weir, including The Martian, Artemis, and Project Hail Mary. Um,
Ooh,
but
Artemis. I
I
have to
guess
check that one out.
as I mentioned before, if you are interested in getting into reading, short stories is one of the great ways to get started. So I highly recommend this one. And there's an animated video for it, so if you aren't into reading, you can still get the punch out of it by checking out this video by Kurtisat.
Yeah.
All right, I think that was all of my books.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going into mine now. Okay.
Yes.
My God. First one I want to show off
Ooh.
is Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. Now, I'm gonna give a bit of a warning. For the okay, I have it on my hand here, but for my teaser things are a bit more maybe spoilery. I don't know. It wasn't intentional. It's just the way I write stuff. It's very difficult for me to like think about how to tease something without giving too much away. But the basic premise of the book is that these aliens called the Overlords appear over Earth, and they bring about utopia, ending war, famine, poverty, and uniting Earth. But the question is just, of course, at what cost? Because they have their own agenda at play, and the ultimate question is if their arrival marks the end of humanity's story or its beginning. And that's like
Ooh, the cover looks spooky too.
it. Yeah, it is.
Ooh.
Yeah, I recommend checking it. It's the one I'm currently reading right now. I've been enjoying it. Um, yeah. Okay. I forgot I'm supposed to be the one moving this through. Okay. Um, next one.
Next one?
Let
Hmm.
me let me pull it up real quick. Ah, right here. Right. It's On the Shoulders of Giants. I got it. Oh God. I got it for Christmas last year, and what it is, it's a 1,200-page collection of the works of Kepler, Galileo, New- Copernicus, Newton, and Einstein. Basically,
Hmm.
it collects and translates all the works together, and then allows you to basically see how physics and astronomy has progressed throughout the last 500 years.
Hmm.
Which I think it's the main thing is like obviously like look at it.
Ooh.
It is not an easy read. Beyond just being dense scientific work, there's also just so many pages. It's
Hmm.
definitely something you want to read in sections over the course of like a year, which is what I plan to do.
I feel
Because
like these kinds of books are perfect for like coffee table books. Because I was
yeah,
reading, yeah,
it,
I
like I
was,
said,
if
it's
you,
not some.
hmm?
Sorry, no. Continue.
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna quickly say, have you read Leonardo da Vinci by, shoot, the very famous biographer? Orbeez, do you remember what was he also recently wrote Elon Musk and and then Steve Jobs. Oh, I'm blanking on the author's name, but um it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, Walter Isaacson. Walter Isaacson, I think. Have you read that?
I have not, but I'd be interested in checking it out because Da
Uh,
Vinci's an interesting character. I feel like there are a lot of people in history that just they were limited by the technology at that time. Da Vinci's one of them. Tesla's another. Yeah. Okay, I think let's move on to the next one. I don't remember the order. Ah, right. Yes.
oh, I love this one. I love this one.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my copy of A Briefer History of Time. Just a republication of his original one, but updated. Well, I guess updated when it was initially published. It's probably outdated by now, but I think it's still a very good introduction to a lot of these concepts, especially for like non-physics and non-science people.
Yeah, I'm wondering why you didn't put a brief history of time and why specifically the briefer one.
Because I don't have this is the one I
Oh,
have.
I see, I see.
That was the only thing. I don't have the original publication, just an updated one.
Yeah, no, I remember reading this. It was a lot of fun. And Orbeez, please do let us know if you've read any of these and what you think. Um, Especially considering like I felt like it is very I felt like it's very interesting to see like how people of different fields or different backgrounds or interests interpret these different books. Because I kind of read this like from the point of view of like a physicist, right? And I talked with one of my friends who was doing like biology and was like absolutely blown away by how funky this book is, and actually that led to her taking a class in relativity. And so I'm very curious to hear like what you all also think about this book as well. And if you need book recommendations, well, you are in the right place.
Yeah, this whole stream is a book recommendation stream.
Yeah. Hello,
Okay,
Karis. Yes. All right,
okay.
next one.
Next one. All right. So this.
Ooh.
Oh shoot! Hold on. This is a guide to making friends in the fourth dimension. It's a self-published book by Toby Hendy. She has a YouTube channel and she does like content with basically exploring the idea of other dimensions, and that is what the book is going to be. It's about. It explores
Ooh.
like the idea of how we'd interact with the fourth dimension, and then like it shows it by using the two dimension as an analogy.
Wait, this is so weird. Have you read Flatland? That's also a really good short story.
I haven't, but I remember watching a video about it when I was like really young, and
Oh,
it was really interesting. I think honestly that might have been what part of what got me into science and such and physics, because I remember seeing
mm.
it when I was young, and it was just like that's so cool.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, Flatland is amazing. Yes, I also agree. I don't think I've actually seen the YouTube video. I should check it out. But I think the Flatland is like one of the best ways to explain to people like how other dimensions work and why we struggle to visualize honestly beyond like maybe even beyond the third dimension, let alone more and more dimensions. Actually, we got a question in chat. Maybe Stella, you can answer this as well. Z and Stella, what do you look for when searching for books to read? Stella, do you want to go first?
Yeah, honestly, it's just whatever interests me. If it like if I think like when I'm reading books, I don't like if I see a book on like a web page or a book in a bookstore, I'll look at the cover and then I'll flip to the back, read the like little excerpt there, and then based on that, I'll determine on if it's something that interests me and if I want to get it or if I want to put it on a book list to read later.
Mm,
I don't really have that strict of a criteria. It's just does this look interesting?
yeah, yeah. I think that's I also feel like I do the same. I definitely like I judge my book by a cover sometimes. But I think for me, I actually like to read a nonfiction book and a fiction book at the same time. The reason for that is because sometimes when I get back from like work, like my brain is so tired that I don't really want to be reading any nonfiction. And on the other hand, sometimes when I just want to like learn something new and I'm in the mood for learning, I pick up a nonfiction book. Um, I like to read a lot of books about history, so I tend to take a lot of recommendations from there, and physics books too. Um, I think in general, for me, I like books that have a lot of creative and immersive world building. Um,
Yeah.
one of the books that I mentioned earlier that I didn't really go into depth too much is like I think it's called The Emperor's Soul, and I really loved it because it had such a creative magic system where you can make where the like the magicians basic or the like the sorcerer people they build these they have to craft these stamps which kind of let you mimic another object upon another. So like for instance, like if you have like a lump of like cement and you were to draw like a stamp on it, it could look like a beautiful vase, for instance. And that
Ooh.
was a really, really cool magic system. And so for me, like I like books where the authors get really creative and it helps me sort of visualize worlds that I could never imagine myself being in. That being said, I also like some like um I'd say like I would say like philosophical, but like books that really make me think. Like those are definitely my favorite types of books. So that's sort of what I look
Yeah.
for. And Orbeez, what do you guys think? What do you guys look for? Going to a big library and going to a section I'm interested in, what's my method? Yes. when I was little, what I would do is I'd like go into the library. I'd skip all the sections. I go straight to the astrophysics one. In fact, I was like at a
Yeah.
point where I had like basically read every single book on that shelf, and so I would just be like looking for the books that I haven't read. And that was really fun. Um, so yeah, I don't know, Stella, have you done that, something like that?
I probably have, and also, for those who've seen my book postings in Z's Discord, you know I do. I often like read two books at a time, but it's a very interesting dichotomy. like I, yeah, yeah. No, I think I have it in the slideshow. We can talk on it later. But
Mhm.
yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's go.
this one's A City on Mars. For those who read my or watched my video on space law, you know I um referenced this book at the end as like a that's like helping me research the topic, and I it's also a really good book because it examines like the idea of like space colonization and like talking about like the various challenges to it, both in terms of like the technology, but also just is this even something we're allowed to do? Is this legal? And what if
Mm,
not? And if so, how do we like and what should the legal framework for activities in space look like? It and towards the end, it also like talks about like like kind of the ideology behind space colonization and like the various proposals as to why we should do it. But
mm,
I think it's a very good book if you're interested in like and want to learn more about the like space colonization and space settlement.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, we're both very interested in space policy, so this looks amazing. I definitely should give this one a read.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, this is great. Uh, the next one,
yeah.
oh, I love this one.
Contact.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
yes. Okay, hold on. Let me grab my copy. Um,
Oh, I guess your hand cam hasn't been updating on my end.
no, it has. It's just I don't have anything there. Or
Oh,
has it not been
okay.
up? Is it updating now?
I don't think so, but for those of you who are on my stream, Stella's POV is pinned in the chat, so be sure to check it out.
Yeah, if you want to see the hand cam I've set up,
Uh-huh.
I'm showing off the physical books in my collection. And yeah, contact. I think I read it back in like this December of 2 years ago. It
Hmm.
it was a very honestly very like the themes of like because of like religion and like faith like that's it's a very interesting thing and like the way it works into the storyline. I don't want to reveal too much, but like I'd really recommend it. It's like it because Carl Sagan himself was like agnostic. He like in his view he couldn't really be sure if there was or wasn't a god because it's not and it's not because it's not a question science can answer. It's something that relies on outside of science.
Hmm. Yeah, no, this book is like a classic. It honestly is such a good read, and I think the movie is what made it even more accessible because I think a lot of people have seen the movie. Um, so if you're not into reading, the movie is also a very good watch. I highly recommend.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yippee! Yes.
Yippee.
Oh my God,
Okay.
I was just talking with somebody yesterday about this book. This is
Okay.
a classic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's one of the best sci-fi comedies I've ever read. Okay, so right here, I have the like it's a 5 book collection. It has all 5 books in the trilogy. Don't question the naming. But
Oh my
it's
God.
yeah. It's I read I read the first two some years ago, but I've recently reread them, and it is sorry, it is genuinely just amazing. And like I don't I don't know where to begin like talking about it because there's a lot of stuff to comment about, and it's like I really recommend at least the first book, or you can watch the movie. The movie's also very good.
Yeah, no, the movie is great too. 42, the original 6, 7 meme.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking about that. So yeah. Genuine meaning of life is 6, 7. God.
Yes. No, no, stop. No, no, 6, 7 is
Ah,
acceptable here.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, I was having a conversation with somebody about this book yesterday about how this book actually changed a lot of the ways that people have seen space. We were talking about a lot of other things about like how Star Wars and Star Trek kind of helped invite the people's imagination into what does a spacefaring civilization look like. For instance, Star Trek, they had a lot of people with like diverse languages and diverse backgrounds, and all these alien species talking to each other, and it sort of painted this picture of space being diverse. In a similar
Yeah.
way, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was so pivotal because I think it shows that like space can be fun. Like I feel like, you see Star Wars and like all this crazy drama, you see Dune, um and what The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy did at the time is that it shows that space can be funny. Space can be fun and whimsical, and it can be whatever the heck you want it to be. And so I think that's what also brought the people's imagination to be more excited about space in a new way. I have a lot of thoughts about this. It's
Yeah.
absolutely great.
It's just really funny and such, and just there is also a lot of like subtle commentary about like I guess society. Ooh.
Yeah. I guess most of this was him just writing down everything he made during his radio shows. What? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay.
But
So
like that's also probably where it came from. Yeah.
yeah, there's a forward in here, and it's basically talking about how there's so like how the evolution of the story. Like it started as a BBC radio show, got adapted into books, like and then more radio shows like short story, and then the movie, which came out after his death, and it's just like and there's just a lot of inconsistencies between the two, and it's just like eventually he laid his head down and went like, all right, no, this is the final version. It is wrong for good. I don't care what anyone else says.
Uh.
It's
No, exactly, exactly.
yeah.
Oh, this is great. Yeah. Oh my God, wait, what is this book?
Oh, okay. I was,
This isn't
I
a
was, de-
sci-fi book. Maybe I should have checked the slides in advance.
man. Okay, I was debating if I actually wanted to leave this in. But no.
No, what is this?
Ah, I should have removed.
I
I
did not
forgot
endorse
about it.
this.
Okay, okay.
I'm gonna write
No,
this one down. No, no, we are
yes.
being good influences here.
No, no. Okay. I have the. It is. No.
My
Yeah.
precious Orbeez are being
Oh no.
ruined. They're being
They're gonna
ruined.
get into Yuri. No. This was your big mistake. You should have invited me on.
Oh my God.
Okay, no. I recommend it if you like rom com, but I think we're gonna move on now.
Okay, well, for those of you who came in, we were talking about sci-fi books. Oh, okay. Well, the next slide is great. Stella's planned reads.
Yeah. Okay. I have a lot of books to talk about here. I actually forgot I put this slide in. So first one I'm gonna showcase is this one, Andromeda. It was published in the 1950s in the Soviet Union. It's basically like it's the forerunner of of Soviet science fiction. It, from my understanding, it basically started a renaissance in Soviet film and book culture, and led to a lot of development of like like interest within Soviet culture of space exploration, and helped promote their space program, and also led to like a lot of new movies and books being published. And it's like and that's I want to. It also just has a very interesting premise.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that sounds interesting. Yeah. I read the next book in that list, Caliban's War.
Yeah, I talk
Hmm.
about. Okay, let me bring both of them up. So I read the first one, Leviathan Wait, see, we have a slide to talk about it, and then
Hmm.
it's like, well, I was just gonna continue the series here, and so I go in the second book, but then I later found out that that one of my friends was gonna gift it to me, and so they had to swap it out and get the next book in the series after that.
Mm.
So that okay. Let's see. So here are the next two books. This one, Brief Answers to Big Questions. It's, from my understanding, it's just Stephen Hawking writing down his philosophy. Though it was actually published like shortly after his death. And then this one, it was gifted to me for Christmas because I think they know I'm in. I like. They know I'm taking physics and they know I'm interested in all this. And like, whoa.
Wait, now that I'm thinking about it, remember how somebody asked like where can you get books? Christmas gifts.
Yes,
Because
Chris.
I was gifted Project Hail Mary for Christmas and like I read that book like cover to cover like 3 times. And I've also like lent it out to friends and stuff like that. So Christmas gifts are a great way to get books, especially if they're new. If they're new.
Yeah. Okay. And the other books on the list I don't have, but I guess I'll just talk about them briefly. Wandering Earth, that is a short story by Neil Tishin. He also wrote Supernova Era and the Three Body series, both of which we're going to talk on. And then afterwards is the Red Mars series. It's been on my reading list for a bit. I just haven't been able to get hold of the books yet. Then we also have Ball Lightning, also by Neil Tishin. It's part of the Three Body universe, but it's not a prequel. It's more like, I guess it's kind of a prequel because Ball Lightning is mentioned in the first Three Body book, but it's
Hmm.
not. You don't need to read it to understand the main story.
Mm. Yeah, we're just about to talk about a bunch of those books too.
Yeah. And then the last one is Soonish. It was written by these same people who wrote City on Mars. In that one they're talking about like near future tech things like, I'm actually not sure, but basically like technological developments that are approaching in space exploration and the influence they could have on it, good and bad.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
The main issue is I'm definitely gonna try and see what I can do if I can find any of these at libraries or at a discount bookstore because books are so expensive. It is insane. I don't, especially new books. Okay, but let's move on to our shared
Our
reading.
shared reads.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
we're finally gonna
Oh
get into
my
this.
God. Don't even get me started on the three
Yeah.
body problem.
All
Oh
right.
my God. I'm such a simp for the three body problem.
All right. Santi, DQ Wangshi. Um, Three Body Problem, or the official series title is Remembrance of Earth's Past. I really don't want to give away any of the series, but it is genuinely so peak. I don't even know where to begin. Just read it and trust the process. The character writing, I'll be honest, that's it's not the point. Most of the characters exist to push forward the story, but it's meant as basically how humanity reacts to crisis. Like the yeah, like the teaser I gave is just for the first book, but the whole series is insane and honestly, I feel like it kind of humbles humanity in a way. I think my favorite quote from the series is, "Weakness and ignorance are not hindrance to survival, but arrogance is."
Ooh, yeah. No, this series is great. Have you watched the Netflix show for it?
I've watched the first few episodes, but I haven't made time for the rest of it.
No,
Just
it's really great. Somebody in the chat said that there was a Chinese Minecraft three-body series. Could you please elaborate on what that is?
okay,
Um,
yes, okay, yeah. I've watched like most of the first season of it. It is surprisingly well made, and it does
wait,
like
what is it? What is it?
okay. It's called the official title is War de Santi, My Three Body. Basically, it's an adaptation of. It started off as just like a fan project, and so the first season was filmed pretty much entirely in Minecraft. But they got more volunteers, more people working on it, and they later adapted Dark Forest in two seasons, showing the stories of Lord Z and Zhang Beihai. And then they also, the fourth season is adapted Death's End. I think it's in production, but I'm not actually sure.
Huh, I didn't know that.
So yeah,
Interesting.
if you don't want to wait for Netflix to release the next seasons and adapt the next books, watch the Minecraft series. Oh, and also,
Honestly, I will. I didn't know that was a thing until now. That's crazy.
okay, also for my favorite part about Death's End that's not spoiler related is that the third book, the author spends multiple paragraphs talking about how the men of the future became femboys. Like that is an actual plot point in the story. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no, I really recommend the Three Body Problem because as I mentioned before, I really like books that A make you think and B have really creative world building, and this is like a beautiful combination of the two. I also want to say that this series was originally written in Chinese, and like the has been translated in many, many different languages, and I think that is a testament to how impressive this series is. Of course, I think there's been a lot of questions about like, oh, what is this series about? And I think honestly, no description can really do it justice. I think
yeah,
it is a story that spans multiple generations. It is a story that spans so many scales of time and space. Like a verbal description just like will not do it justice. It is something that is purely an experience. Um, so I highly, highly recommend it. And uh, and yeah, no, I do have to admit that like it is definitely a long read, and I have heard a few times that like there's a lot of characters, like it's hard to get lost. So I would recommend like definitely being patient with this series, but it is the kind of series that you will read once and it will absolutely change your life and the way that you see the world.
yeah. Oh, Ozzy, one last question before we move on. Have you read the fourth quote unquote book in the series?
Which one is that the one on the next slide or no, no,
No, no, no,
Supernova
no.
Era is not. There's
No,
a
okay.
fourth book?
Uh, okay, it's a bit complicated. So after the publishing of Death's End, there was a Chinese fan wrote up another book, and the publishing company published it as a fourth book in the series called Redemption of Time, and and it was the idea was just the fan filling in like his parts of the story that wasn't filled in Death's End, but it's very like controversial because it wasn't published by the main author, and it also
Oh.
and like
Hmm.
a lot of like people don't really like it as much because it it isn't as high quality, and also Leo Tsushi was kind of strong on to allow it to be published, and he couldn't really write any more books in the series after that.
I see. I think I feel like there's like similar controversies when like an author's son or like their child like continues a series. I know that there was a lot of controversy with the Dune series and some of the books that were written like not by Frank Herbert, but I think like his son or something. Um so yeah, I think it could be a mixed bag. I haven't read that, but I actually would not be opposed to checking it out because this series was so great. It is
Yeah,
and it isn't canon. Yeah.
yeah.
Glorified fanfic? Hmm.
It is pretty much, yeah, because like I said, it was fan fiction that was initially published on just a Chinese blog, and then it got published officially by the company. But
Hmm.
okay,
Next book?
yeah, next book. Supernova. I don't have this one in my collection because, like I said, I got it from the library. But it was, and it did. Okay, it did take me a while to read as well. But is it also? like really good. It's an exploration of society, and if you know about like Chinese history, it's not difficult to see the parallels between like the book's setting and China during the Deng Xiaoping era, because a lot of the themes explored in the book is the idea of rapid social change when basically all of society is upheaved. And that's kind of what happened both with the Cultural Revolution and then with the reform and opening up. A lot of things were changing very, very quickly for China. And and that meant a lot of the old social structures were changing as well. And so how that the book is kind of like an exploration of those themes through a fictional setting. But what are your thoughts? What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on this book?
I was kind of disappointed by the ending, but I think, I guess coming as somebody who does not know about Chinese history, or at least doesn't know that much about Chinese history, I don't think you really need to know any of it in order to really interpret the book. I sort of interpreted it as, so I guess a brief plot point is it says like when the adults die and only the children are left, how do they respond to the unraveling of the fabric of society? And a part of the book is about this imminent disaster that's going to happen, and these adults who feel like these adults who have to train their children in a very short period of time to keep the country running after the adults no longer exist. And that's all I'm going to say about the book without spoiling it.
Yeah,
Um, but I think one of my favorite things about reading is that it can put you in worlds that would not happen. Well, like hopefully, fingers crossed, we are never in a situation where all, the adults die and we gotta have the kids like deal with everything. But
oh yeah.
that being said, like it was a very interesting case study about how do people respond in times of disaster. And that is something that really interests me about science fiction books. I actually read a book a few years ago about how science fiction stories and science fiction movies have been used to actually directly craft policy in space. For instance, there was this one movie like a really long time ago about like a nuclear bomb and how there was very little security with the bomb, and that actually led to direct regulations in nuclear policy. In a similar
Ooh.
way, this book, obviously there won't be a disaster where all the adults die anytime soon, but it is a beautiful case study of how does society respond in the case of an astrophysical disaster or something that they feel very out of their control. And I think the parallels to that could be applied to some other aspects of real life. So I think if you are interested in, being in a world that is very new and, seeing like how would people respond to the situation, I think this book did a really great job. But that being said, I think the ending was quite controversial, and I have to be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the ending, but it is definitely a great read, and it is the kind of book that will put you on the edge of your seat for a very long time. Um, so yes, I highly recommend.
Yeah, for the end, like it does make a bit more sense if you understand like Chinese culture and stuff. But even still, I did find it felt out of place, especially considering what had happened immediately beforehand. I'm not gonna say anything, but like
Mhm.
it is just a bit of a disconnect there. But yeah, I'd still recommend picking it up if you
Mhm.
can. All right,
Yeah, no,
what was
this was a
next?
great one for sure.
This one.
Yeah.
This one. Next book. This one.
Oh my god! Oh my god,
Yes,
wait.
yes.
Okay, so oh
Compose
my god, I just
yourself.
died. So when we were building these slides, right? Like we were kind of like on the slideshow separately, and I noticed that Stella put this book, and like I like typed out this paragraph. OMG, I was gifted this for my birthday, and I've been obsessed with it. The movie is coming out soon. It's such a masterpiece. I'm so sorry. I'm taking up the whole text block, but this is literally the first book I recommend to anyone I meet. And I still stand by that ground. This is literally the book that I recommend to people who are like, oh, I want to get into sci fi, but like, I don't know where to start. This is the book. And I also have a copy so I can like give it out to people, So
Yes, yes.
I highly recommend. Oh my god, my voice just like evaporated. I was that excited. Holy smokes.
Yeah. No, no. Like I got the book because you recommended it to me actually. Like
Mm.
so yeah, I went out, I got it, and it
Yeah.
is just so amazing. I don't it's just I, please just go read it right now. That's your assigned reading. Go read it now.
Yes,
After soup.
assign reading. All the Orbeez have homework.
Okay. Uh, I think is that all that needs to be said on that?
I'm just gonna read the plot little description here.
Go ahead.
Basically, this high school teacher has found himself alone, light years away from any human, not even knowing his name, yet tasked with the impossible mission to save humanity that he will have to do all alone. Or will he? Oh my God, isn't that so enticing? The book was so good, it took your voice away. No, when I read this, I literally sat down, stared at a wall, and I was like, what the hell did I just read? Because that was so good.
Okay.
This is so good. The movie's gonna be great. It has what's his name? Ryan Gosling, I think.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
dude from La La Land in it. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Okay. Also, I, I am so excited for food. Okay, so the movie actually comes out in my IRL birth month. I'm not gonna say anything more, but like
No
the
way.
way it lines up is just that is the best gift I could ever receive. All right.
Yeah. I would recommend, like, with the movie coming out so soon, that also gives people an incentive to read the book. So you should read the book before watching the movie. I am really
Yes.
hoping that the movie is good, but I know that The Martian was such a great movie that I'm
Yeah.
hoping that, like, they follow up with it very faithfully. But
I
the trailer looks great already. So,
I actually have the Martian in my collection as well. I think it was the first book actually where I saw the movie before I read the book.
oh.
Yeah, in most cases, like I didn't even know there was like an adaptation of it before I read the book, but Martian was like the exception. And also, my favorite like joke, like when talking about the book, is that you know it's fiction because it exists in a timeline where one, NASA's fully funded, and two, it's allowed to collaborate with China.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
no, okay,
The formula should be relatively easy to follow for a movie. Yeah, there have just been some instances where I've been really excited for a movie and was disappointed or they like didn't follow the book faithfully. But I think there are some movies where the the movie crew are like very open in conversation with the author, and I feel like in those instances they do a really, really good job of making sure that the original author's intent shines through.
yeah. I think this is the last slide. We managed to get
Yes.
through all the content.
Woohoo! We actually made it on time.
Yay! Despite all the stuff. All right. So, yeah, it is. We're just gonna talk a bit more about Leviathan Wakes and the Expanse series. I've read the first book, and I was not expecting the wild ride set me on. I was drawn in because of the like themes of like class struggle and like the conflict between Mars and Earth and the people in the belt. But I did not expect anything else beyond that, and it sent me on a wild ride. Like it was so crazy.
Ooh. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love this book. This series in general was a lot of fun. One of my favorite parts about this book was that all the characters are just so charming. I feel like sometimes I like can't read a book if like I can't relate with the character or like the character is like doing something that I wouldn't do. But I felt like all the characters here were all so charming and also the world building was incredible. It's been a while since I read this one, but I remember it being quite accurate like in terms of physics as well. So, yes,
yeah. I
yes.
think the only like stretch in physics is the Epstein drive, which is how they are able to like go between all the outer planets. Other than that, everything is very accurate to real life physics, at least from what I've read and from what I know.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'd recommend the series. It's also a Prime Video like show, I think.
What?
I got. Oh yeah,
No
okay,
way. What?
right there, right there.
I'm writing this down so
Now
quick.
a Prime original series. All right.
I recently watched Foundation, which is on like Apple TV, I think. Um and I watched the first season and I loved it. The second season was not as good, but that was also a great one to watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I jotted this one down. I'm very stoked. I will have to watch this.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Woohoo!
Well,
Wow, we actually went through everything. This is great.
Yay! All right.
Yippee!
I'm also kind of
Well,
impressed you did. I felt like we'd be
yeah,
talking a
no,
lot more
it was
about it.
very scuffed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think we should try to see somebody that we could raid. I was actually eyeing, and it looks like Super Kim is live. So if you guys don't know, Super Kim and I have collabed a few times. She is um, she does VTubing and also flesh tubing content. Um, she is also an IRL astronomer. Um, so I highly recommend checking out her channel. We are actually collabing very, very soon to continue writing our joke research paper. So I highly recommend. Oh, thank you, Starly Pop, for following. And also, thank you again, Sidere and also Tofu, for rating. I really, really appreciate all the support. I also included my YouTube link, so if you could check that out there. I also have long form videos, and also check out Stella's channel, which is in the pinned message. Stella, do you have any announcements or anything, or?
Um. Yeah. Okay. So earlier this month, I posted a roadmap, but I can just talk about it real quickly. So my next two
Mhm.
videos are going to be about exploring the idea of building Dyson spheres, and also about like constructing, not construct, but like how you would govern across the galaxy, if it's even possible to do
Ooh.
such a thing. And then in terms of live streams, I have one planned on uh, April 12th. It's going to be a Kerbal Space Program stream. I'm going to be playing the Real Solar
I did
System
Kerbal
mod.
too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing the Real Solar System mod, which basically makes the game so much worse. And it's going to be in honor of Yuri Gagarin and his spaceflight. And then I also have streams planned basically exploring the idea of settling in terraforming Mars. That's all. Keep them on your calendar if you're interested. They're probably gonna all be very scuffed, but that's part of the charm.
Yes, no, that sounds great. That sounds great. Sorry for the Twitch folks. I just canceled the raid just to not cut off Stella. But yeah, my next stream will probably be on Friday. We will probably be doing VTuber versus LaTeX again, or PhD simulator. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you all so, so much for joining. Thank you, Stella, for coming on. And we will actually raid Kim for reals now.
Alright,
So be ready to raid. Thank you all so much. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. All right, cool. I just muted on my end, and then let me raid. Yes, let me just quickly make sure that this. Sorry, give me 1 second. Let me end my stream. Yeah, wait, sorry, just give me 1 second. I just need to message Kim real quick. We're talking about